Grateful to everyone for coming together to hear from Krishna, from the Bhagavad Gita. And today we are starting the third section of the Gita. The first 6 chapters is Karma Yoga. Through your activity, through your work, you connect to Krishna. And the next 6 chapters is Bhakti Yoga, where you directly connect with Krishna. Right? Karma Yoga also, you're doing an activity and then offering to Krishna. But Bhakti means directly falling in love with Krishna. And Jnana Yoga is through philosophy and through philosophical speculation. That means through the study of the scriptures and through the philosophy, you connect to the Lord. Right? We have an intellect side, we have the activity side. Right? So these 6 chapters are very philosophical because Krishna is speaking about the whole science of how this world works and how it's created. But we will study the whole philosophy as Krishna is speaking it so that we can see him and connect to him. This is Jnana Yoga. Yoga means to link with Krishna. Yoga means to connect. So through Karma Yoga, we were connecting with Krishna through our work. Through Bhakti is direct linking with Krishna. And Jnana Yoga means to connect Krishna through our intellect. Through our, So these are the 6 chapters. Because the more our intellect gets convinced about the subject matter, we can fix on Krishna very easily. Right? Devotion needs that conviction, the Shraddha. If a person is not having the conviction, then people may think devotion to be some sentimental practice. He says, oh, who does devotion? Those who are not so knowledgeable and get into some kind of, practices. But we understand through the knowledge that actually the conclusion of knowledge is devotion. Right? But because we have our intellect self, and unless we understand the technology very well, unconsciously those imprints will not make us connect to Krishna with devotion. Right? So Krishna is speaking very, very philosophically in these chapters. So we will begin from chapter 13.
Why is it framed in this order that first you go through karma, then bhakti, then jnana? Is there a particular reason for it being in this order or not?
No, Krishna is speaking about all the subject matters. So basically, he has put bhakti in the center, the conclusion. And again in the 18th chapter, he will conclude it. And karma and jnana. See, in our life, we have karma and jnana, which are playing a vital role. Like for example, when you become a devotee, is it that you stop activity? No. We have a lot of activities we do. So we want to connect all our activities to Krishna. Similarly, it is just not our activities, it's also like all the time we are acting and also we are thinking. We are thinking so many aspects, dealing with so many aspects on a intellectual, mental level, right? Isn't it? So how can that also, analysis, bring us to Krishna? Right? So in that way, Krishna is first speaking on the karma, then the jnana and the bhakti. But he wants to basically speak on all these subject matters. So that in our lives, our whole 24 hours can be connected to Krishna. Right? That is the subject. So this is nature, the enjoyer, and consciousness. Nature means Prakriti. Arjuna Uvacha Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetrakyameva Cha Etad Veditum Ichchami Jnanam Geyam Cha Keshava. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetram iti abhidiyate Etadyo vetti tam prahu Kshetrajna iti tadveda. Yes, Krishna Prabhu.
Arjuna said, "Oh my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purush, the enjoyer, and the field and the knower of the field,
And
of knowledge and the object of knowledge."
yes,
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and the one who knows this body is called the knower of the field."
yes. So Krishna is asking, Arjuna is asking 6 questions, and Krishna is going to answer them one by one. So first, he's speaking on the subject of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Right? You can remember these two words that is going to be explained in the first 5-6 verses. Kshetra means field, and Kshetrajna, knower of the field. Ajna means to know. Right? So Krishna is saying, so what is the Kshetra? What is the Kshetra? Field. So what is the field Krishna is saying? The body. Our body is the field of activities. And Kshetrajna, the knower of the field. Who is the knower of the field? Huh? The soul. Correct. The first Krishna is explaining these 2 subjects. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vedhi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata Kshetra Kshetrajnayor Jnanam Yat Tat Jnanam Matam Mama. Yes, Prabhu, having to.
O sign of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower of all the bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion.
Yes. So there is one Kshetrajna, that is the soul. But there is a super Kshetrajna, one who knows
Everything.
all the fields. Like I have a headache, I can know, you cannot experience it. But Krishna can experience my situation, your situation, and the situation of the little ant, the little insect, the little fly, the birds, everyone. That is the difference between these 2 Kshetrajnas. Right? So Krishna says, to know Kshetra, to know the Kshetrajna, and to know the super Kshetrajna, or the Kshetrajna of all. This is called Jnana. Like there may be so many definitions of Jnana, but Krishna's definitions are the fundamental. So Krishna is saying, what is Jnana? If you know the soul, if you know the body, and if you know one who knows all the bodies and all the souls, the super souls. If you know the controller or the knower of both, technically, that is knowledge. And if a person does not know these 3 things, then he doesn't know knowledge. This is Krishna speaking. So from that equation we can know how many are educated and how many are not. Tat kshetram yacha yadrakcha yadvikari yataschayat sachayo yat prabhavascha tatsamasena me shrunu. Yes,
Now,
Prabhu.
please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, and what its changes are when it is produced, who the knower of the field of activities is, and what his influences are.
Let's go and explain the whole field of activities. Rishibir Bahuda Gitam
ऋषिभिर्बहुधागीतम्
छन्दोभिर्विविधैः पृथक्
छन्दोभिर्विविधैः
ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव
ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव
हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चिता
हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चितैः
चिता बोले यस मुस्कान माथुर
That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is specially presented in the Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect.
महाभूतानि अहंकारो
महाभूतानि अहङ्कारो
बुद्धिरव्यक्तमेव च
बुद्धिरव्यक्तमेव च
इन्द्रियाणि दशैकं च
इन्द्रियाणि दशैकं च
पञ्चचेन्द्रियगोचर
पञ्चचेन्द्रियगोचरा
इच्छाद्वेष सुखं दुःखं
इच्छाद्वेषसुखं
सङ्गातश्चेतना धृतिः
संघातश्चेतना
एतत् क्षेत्रं समासेन
एतच्छेत्रं समासेन
सविकारम् उदाहृतम्
सविकारम् उदाहृतम्
The five great elements, false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses and the mind, the 5 senses, the sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms, and convictions, all these are considered in summary to the field of activities and its interaction.
Yes, so this is the field when you say the body, right? We'll first do this and then go to the next. Then Krishna speaks further about knowledge at a different paradigm. He's going to speak many intricate concepts here, and we can try to understand them best and see its application in all our lives, right? Obviously, it's philosophical, so you may have to extend your intellect to be able to catch what Krishna is speaking, right? So, as we hear, Arjuna is asked about Prakriti, the Purusha, the Kshetra, the Kshetrajna, the knowledge, and the object of knowledge, right? Who is the object of knowledge? And Krishna begins to speak about these two subjects, Kshetra and Kshetrajna, and the field and the knower of the field. So the first thing, we can do a little contemplation, right? So when you say the field of activities, it is the body. And when you say it is the body, which we will further study, it also means our mind, intelligence, ego. Everything else also is the body. So when we are born, when we grow up to be a little child, and then we become a little more grown up like a teen, and then grow up more and more, and all these phases of our life, right? And the soul, or we can say each of us, who are we? We are the observers of all these phases and transformations. Isn't it? The body has transformed, so many things have happened, but we are still the same personality observing through and through. And then what next? What next? The child's experience was different. The experience in the teens was different. Post that, the experience is different. And now further experiences have to happen, and for others, more and more. Another little, Naveen Prabhu is more advanced than me, has more experiences through the Kshetra. Obviously, you're seeing the field of activity, you're seeing the body, you're seeing its transformations, right? And you see that Kshetra does not work the same all the time, right? Whether to say our physical setup or our mental and thinking pattern. When you were a child, when you were in the teens, and now, do you think the same? And when you go into your, and I see every 10 years, you can see a change of your psychology. Like when you're as a child, it is like exploring the world through touch, to taste, to senses. But there's not so much of thoughtfulness. How much children put thoughtfulness? Not so much. Like even that is why if you speak to children and you want to teach them philosophy, it's not going to be so easy because they're more into exploring through their senses and the other things, right? And then when they go through the teens, it's more like an experiential aspect. People are growing into more and more understandings. And then you see when they start moving to their 18s, 19, 20, then they get into more quest for, okay, what is my future supposed to be? What am I supposed to approach? Like, till the teens, it's more joyous. But then after some time, then you start being thoughtful about what are the directions I can take in my life. And then you will see, now this is my little experience and study. In 20 to 30, till you come to 30, and I think most of you are within those 30 brackets. Yes? Till your 30s, it is like new ventures, new adventures. 20s are like new zeal, new energy, new enthusiasm. Right? But then you land in your 30s, there will be more thought of some settlement. You're going to be making ventures, but you will narrow down your ventures. It's not that the whole world will become a spectrum. He said, let me get clear, more narrow down to what I really want to pursue in terms of my relationships, in terms of life. In 20s, usually that gravitation does not happen. Right? Exploration is on. ये कर सकता है, हाँ ये भी कर सकता हूँ, वो कर सकता है, हाँ वो भी कर सकता हूँ, ये और वो कर सकता है, हाँ सब कर सकता हूँ, ये भी कर सकता हूँ, वो भी कर सकता हूँ, ये भी कर सकता हूँ, वहाँ भी जा सकता हूँ, ये जा. This is 20s to 30 talk, right? And when you land in your 30s, your knower of your field increases. You start knowing about your patterns more. Then you ask, ये कर सकता है नहीं? ये मेरा field of, So you will see in the 30s, a person starts thinking more about settlement. And when he gets into 40s, he wants stability. Right? At 40s, he doesn't want to play too much. Within the stability, he can play ventures. Right? And now in 50s, Naveen Prabhu and Amit Prabhu and Mataji will say, right? What do you think now?
Boy, yeah.
I'm not the body, I'm soul. Right? Yes, Naveen Prabhu. Any thought? Because you're the knower of the field. See, the point that I'm trying to do through his examples to understand there is a field of activity and there is someone who is getting more cognizant of the field. Right? They're more cognizant. You think different in your 50s?
Yes, absolutely. My elders who crossed 50s before me, so they used to say me, when you come to 50, I will ask you, no, I will be young as much. But as soon as you cross 50, I don't know what happens to you, but it gets changed.
Yeah.
Your mindset, your working, your ability, your energy.
On a physical level, you will see it works like this. When you're born, you start growing. And then after you grow for some time, there's a plateau. Right? The body heals. The body can regenerate. But as you cross to like a 50 and all, the body starts declining. Now some things will not heal. You have to kind of deal with it as it is. Right? Like when you're youthful, the healing happens very fast. But afterwards, some things will heal, some things will degenerate. So actually, after a certain age, the pralaya starts. Pralaya, you understand the destruction. And that's when it starts moving to the old age. And then you start thinking different because till now things were getting created and stabilized. Now things are getting into declining. Right? So now the perception of your reality is different. Right? The pursuit and the perception, you think different. Right? So the example here is to mean that we are not the field of activities. We are the observer of the field of activities. Krishna is explaining. Like when you say Dehinosmin yatha de, we are not the body, we are the soul. That is one aspect of Krishna explaining. But here, as Krishna is more getting deeper into the subject, when you say you're not the body, you're the soul, who are you? You are the knower. And you're becoming more and you're observing yourself. That's why a devotee, one of the aspects of knowledge is Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshan Darshanam. One thing is when birth, old age, disease, death comes, you can get completely perturbed. Why this disease is coming? Why this old age is coming? You know, when you're young, you don't get that fear and the trauma of being diseased or becoming agonized by something. But as you cross time, then it will come. You cannot say, I cannot have ailment. You cannot say, I'm not going to have disease. Right? So people who are not understanding this difference between Kshetra and Kshetrajna will completely be put into moroseness in life. They cannot be youthful. The reason Amit Golpu is saying youthful because he has separated both. He understands my body is there, but I am not the body. So nothing can stop me from being happy because I am not my body. So if I take my body too seriously, I cannot be happy. I cannot be youthful. If I take my situation and my own body, the consciousness will literally pull us down. Right? But as Krishna is explaining for devotees to understand, you see the transformation of the body from birth, old age, disease and death. You are not dying. You are not aging. You are observant of this field of activity.
Right from birth till death.
Yes, you are observant.
Soul is observant.
Soul means we. We are observing. We observe our mental selves. We observe our physical selves. So if we think we are that, then there is no solution. You're like in a checkmate situation. Right? Just like now people, when they do not understand that they are separate from the body and they're the knower of the body, and things don't work in their life, relationships don't work, career doesn't work, they feel it's a dead end. And people get into extreme depression, stress and everything. Right? Just like all of us have smartphones. Right? The smartphones has a software and you're busy. When you're absorbed in the smartphone for hours and suddenly imagine the software crashes. Right? You're absorbed for 3 hours into samadhi and then the software crashes. What happens? What happens when the software of the phone crashes? Huh? What happens? The phone has become dysfunctional. But have you become dysfunctional? No. You can still function even if the phone is dysfunctional. Right? Similarly, the field of activities, even if they become dysfunctional, the knower of the activities can still function. And it has its functions, which will be spoken by Krishna. Right? But somebody who thinks, I am that field of activities, and the activities do, the person feels they are doomed. They are doomed. And because the absorption is so much, for us to kind of contemplate, it is not so easy to say, actually this is field of activities and I'm separate. It needs that spiritual practice and realization. But still, Krishna is giving us the metaphysics, of how it works. That there is the field of activities and I am the knower of the field of activities. Right?
Prabhu, we are knower of the field of activity is nothing but we are an observer.
Yes. Yes, we are the observer and we are seeing all this happen. And you see in this world that the transformation happens. Anything new, it is sleek, it is shiny, and then after some time you look at it, it becomes coarse, starts deteriorating, gets rusted, and then you don't no more want it to be the beauty piece for your place. You want to replace. Right? And same thing you will see with the field of activities also. Right? So we need to be able to understand this difference by this contemplation.
This whole entire world, not world, the entire universe, everything belongs to Krishna.
Yes.
So Krishna doesn't want his every belonging to be very beautiful.
We are extremely beautiful. The soul is extremely beautiful. But we have put up this field of activities which is filled with, what is the body that we got filled up with? The mucus, blood, stool, urine, and flesh. This is not actual beauty. This is, as we say, fleeting beauty of the body. And how long people are beautiful, by the way? It stays for some time. Nothing stays for all the time. Isn't it? The actual beauty is not material. The actual beauty is spiritual. Right? Isn't it? So now the soul is right now captured in a very concise form. The beauty of soul is extremely beautiful. Alright? So Krishna wants us to again regain our original virasat, what he has given us. Now we have exchanged it wrongly and made our lives very difficult. So this is the first learning that we have here, that knower and the field of activities. So always, one thing that we all can do through our lives, whenever you see you're being put in a situation and it becomes overwhelming, do this activity of separating yourself. Detach yourself and observe yourself. Now, why am I getting so overwhelmed in the situation? And you will see you will have a gear. Because you understand the science, you can see, somebody who thinks I am that cannot analyze and kind of put themselves as an observer. But somebody who understands this science will have the courage to take shelter of Krishna and bring themselves as observer. Maybe in this situation I am too attached to my conception. That is why it is creating so much of pain for me. It is not the people who are making them miserable. It is my attachment to my opinion and how people are not appreciating my opinion. I am becoming very heated up. Right? So devotee can observe because he has more science about seeing things. If you think we are the mind, then you can't detach yourself from your mind. If you think we are intelligence and our egoistic self, then we can't detach ourselves. But we know that we are separate, and this has been avoided. And similarly, we will not pose too much emphasis on the externals. We know that everybody is in their journey of field of activities, and they have got a field of activities based on their own paying price of their desires and their punya. मतलब कौन सी खेती आपको चाहिए? Depending on how much you could pay, you bought some katta land for this activity, this activity, this activity. And now, what do you want to till your field to grow? It is again your choice. The field of activity at the time of birth has been given to you. Now that may be different for different people, but now what will you plow your field and what will you grow here and what will you use what you have grown here is all your choice. You may not want to change the field, but what are you going to grow this field for? And what are you going to use the output of this field for?
or temporary.
No, but still if you use it, like if you use that field for a higher cultivation and engage everything in, the Krishna service, then the deal is different. And you do the same, you grow your field to become and use it for exploiting others in a very sincere way. So you make so many enemies, and they're going to have other counter effects. Or you perform sinful activities. Then the after effect of that will be, because the fruits will yield seeds, which again when they're put will grow into another tree and bring fruits. Right? So that will create repercussions. Everything will create repercussions. So we are conscious, how do I want to use my field of activity? इसमें क्या cultivation होगा, क्या greenery होगा, क्या aspects होगा. Right? So this is the first thing Krishna is speaking.
This thing is very easy to say, but according to the situation of the one labor, the one who is born in heart, the one who is born without heart also happens, and there are so many situations. So this cultivation,
that is why the first thing is spiritual cultivation. When the spiritual cultivation is there, this cognizance will be there of all this knowledge, and then whichever be the field, they can utilize it very well for their ultimate perfection.
तो इनका आंसर ऐसे भी हो सकता है कि like जो ये बोल रहे हैं कि जो लेबर होगा ये होगा, तो law of nature works. The thing is कि the one who is in the verge of labor seeking what should I say? So due to their past deeds and past karmas, so he is going through those phases.
Yes.
So this is Gita में कहा गया है कि if you are born in a very aristocratic family, then it means you have done punyas, you have done good karmas. That's why you are.
Yes.
So here the answer can be said in this way. तो लेबर वाली जो बात उन्होंने जो भी कही कि तो he has to go through all these phases of life, then he will do punyas, then he will go to the spiritual.
Yeah, so that is like a normal course. But if you make spiritual cultivation as the first principle, then whether it is the field of activity of being a labor or an aristocratic person, see, a person who is aristocratic, if he doesn't make spiritual cultivation, he will get into indulgence, and next life he will be a laborer for having abused what he has. And we remember in the Damodar Leela we speak about Halakuber Manigri were sons of Kubera. Next life they were trees. So they were children of Kubera. You understand, Kubera's children means all Khajana of three worlds. So who are poor people? Rich people who are puffed up and who abuse their wealth in indulgence.
Tree is the highest punishment.
Right? So those who abuse what they have, they become degenerated and decline. Right? And who are the rich people? Who are poor, but they have done proper activity, proper punya, and being conscientious. So they say, like it's like a cycle. Tough times make hardworking people, and hardworking people make good times. But good times lead to indulgence, and indulgence makes weak people, and weak people make good times tough times. Make sense? So that is how, if you do not use your success, your benefits in a humble way, you understand, I'm grateful that I've been awarded, and now with humility I use it for service. Then you go more up. You become puffed up, look down, indulge, abuse, then instead of going up, you come back. And again do that, then you go down, then you go down. Krishna will speak that. What is the knowledge that is required to make ascent? And if you cultivate what Krishna says in the next part of our discussion, you keep moving up. But if you don't cultivate that and say, I have different success models, it says you only go down. Right? So Krishna is going to speak from verse 8 to 12, the perfect success model in pursuits. Right? So this is the first thing Krishna is speaking about, knower of the field and the field. And then Krishna speaks the next concept, that Kshetrajnam chapi mam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Then who is Krishna? Viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. We may be viddhi, we may understand our kshetra, that too little bit. I'll tell you, it is always easy to say about others. ये ऐसे हैं वो ऐसे हैं, बट किसी को प्रश्न पूछो, आप अपने बारे में सोचो कि आप क्या हो, you will be put in a confusion. Who am I really? What is my psychology? Who am I? You will always realize it's not an easy question to answer. To give a comment on the other person, you can say ये ऐसा है, बट खुद के बारे में कॉग्निजेंट होना कि मैं ऐसा हूँ, वो दूसरा आपको समझा सकता है, और बहुत बार समझाने के बाद आप एक्सेप्ट भी नहीं कर सकते. आप बोलेंगे नहीं ये आप गलत बोल रहे हो. कभी कभी दूसरों की बातों को समझने के लिए आपको और 5-10 साल लग सकते हैं. Right? Isn't it? So it is very difficult. That means we can know ourselves, but we can know ourselves very little. That's why one of my senior Shiksha Guru, he said one of the way to make advancement very fast is to take feedback. Right? If you take feedback from your superiors, from your equals, and even from your subordinates, you can make leaps of growth very fast. But to take feedback, it needs a lot of courage, humility.
So please define like in business also we should take feedback.
Yes.
Obviously, see, somebody who wants to excel in a field always asks others, what do you think I'm going good and maybe where should I improve? You will see every person can give you a cursor. We don't want to take cursors, that's another thing. So that's what my Shiksha Guru said. And if you take feedback, you can grow a lot. Obviously, you should be careful. Take feedback from, well-wishers. We don't want people to give us too much negative feedback and discourage us. So people who are good friends, people who are our loving seniors, or even subordinates who are very kind and respectful, they can always tell you. They will not tell you in general. Nobody will tell you anything, because who wants to be a bad guy? Everybody will tell you the goody aspects. Aap ye ho, aap wo ho. You're observing something wrong, but if I say this unnecessarily, I will make him my enemy. So दिख रहा है, but कोई बोलता नहीं. For people to say, it takes a lot of commitment in relationships. You should have really invested in the relationship, that person knows that if I give him a good advice, he'll not take me wrong. You have invested to that level of friendship or in relationship, whether it's your superiors, whether it's your equals, or whether it's your subordinates. And people also try to help you and see the effect. Maybe they want to help you 100, they'll help you with 1 and see क्या response आता है. They'll give, people are well-wishers, it's not that people don't want, they will give you 1 or 2 and उसमें ही आप रंग दिखा देते हो. बोलते भैया कोई जरूरत नहीं, भगवान है, सबको सुधार देंगे, मुझे unnecessarily किसी का अधिकार लेने की जरूरत नहीं. Then it takes more time. But if you have people who can, see, people may love you, but to get to the trust level, it takes more. They say you love all, but how many people you trust? And that will be maybe 1, may not be any, depends on. It needs commitment relationships. That's why you will see Shastra will explain friendship relationships are not so easy. So Radhanath Maharaj would say, friendships take 20, 30, 40, 50 years to make. Right? And the first time I heard it, I thought, what is Maharaj is speaking? 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. And I said, yes.
To me,
To actually have substantial relationships. It's goody relationship you can have with, unlimited people. But who are the people who can get into your lives and can help you, to build you, to grow you? Such relationships are very few. And those relationships also take more time for depth. That means 20 years एक relationship है, 30 years में और polish होता है, 40 years में और polish होता है, 50 years में और polish होता है. क्योंकि वो it sees the seasons, it sees like today everything is good, he's my friend. Tomorrow things are not good, is he still my friend? Right? So relationships take seasons to know how much substance they have in them. We can say we're a devotee of Krishna. Tough times come, do we still become Krishna conscious, or we say, I'm diluting my purpose? So the relationship is still to take time. So Krishna will test, Maya will test our relationships. Maya will test our bhakti to know how substantially we are with Krishna. Right? That level. So it takes time and substance. So yes, this principle you can take is, if you want to grow, taking inputs from others can help you. But it needs humility to hear it, humility to accept it graciously, right? You can always seek help. So take little, don't take too much. But you also have to be enthusiastic. Yes, Prabhu.
About taking inputs.
Feedback.
Say I decide to do something and everyone has a feedback, right? If I'm trying to do X, Y, Z, people will say do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, then you do X, Y, Z. So then Prabhu, what should one do? Even I know they are my well-wisher. It's not that they are not my well-wisher. My vision is this. They may not see the entire vision. They know that he wants something. He wants X.
Yeah.
But they don't know I want X, Y, Z. So then what to do, Prabhu? I know that they are my well-wisher.
It's okay. That's okay. You're not able to understand that, you understand that they don't understand. Right?
You said this like this, you can ask the validation of ABCD.
It needs courage to do that.
No,
It needs like,
No, bro, he can say, na, I'm on this way, you are suggesting me this way. Can you suggest me if I go through this way, then what would be the betterment to get X, Y, Z going through ABCD?
So if you're ready to do that,
So probably,
if you're ready, that means you're ready to take the feedback.
no,
You're ready to take the feedback. If you're not interested to take their feedback, why you will ask them?
why can't we ask the clarification of the ABCD?
If I don't want, why I will ask? मुझे आपका ओपिनियन नहीं चाहिए. आपका ओपिनियन मेरे को लगता है मेरे को डिस्करेज करेगा. क्यों मैं लूंगा आपका ओपिनियन? क्योंकि आप वेल विशर हो, तो इसलिए वो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं.
प्रभु जी ने अभी बताया ना, वन और टू से पता लग गया, इससे ज्यादा मत पूछो.
See, it's like this. If you're clear that you're going to follow someone, if you're going to take his opinion clearly, then you will do what you said. But if you're not going, it's like, you listen, you have to allow. You cannot say it's convincing or not. Say, you decide not to learn from me. You cannot be taught. I can say so much, you cannot be taught. You have to agree that I want to learn.
Prabhu, I'll give an example.
Right? I can be most convincing. Afterwards, a person will say, no, but this is also there. Ye faltu hai.
I can give an
Right.
example, Prabhu. Like say I want to start a company and I want to use AI. Let's just say that I want to use AI, but the people I'm working with are not well equipped with AI and they don't want to learn. And they are making excuses that no, we do this and this has been going on for 10 years, so we have to stick to this or we have to do this. But I'm saying we have to use only AI and do it. Even if there's problems right now, we have to use AI no matter what happens. I'm the owner of the business. AI needs to be incorporated. Even if it costs us more, we need to do it right now so that long term it's good. So then that.
So where is the communication?
Prabhu?
Where is the communication? Your way.
No, but like when I'm saying it, like, people are saying that you should not use this. You should not use this. This is not the right way.
Yes.
This is not how things work in Calcutta.
Yes.
This is not how the government works in Calcutta. There are always people saying that. It happens in business all the time. Like you don't know. You have to bribe them. Like there are these instances in life. Like I think everyone's faced it. So like I decide to hear them and not take their opinion.
What's the point? So where are you taking the input?
No problem, but they are well wishing.
About something. If you're that confident about something, if you're that sure about wanting to do something, if you're that sure that
Question is not that you are confident. Question is that Prabhuji said that are you ready to take the feedback?
No, so you may not want to take feedback. No, that's the point.
He said, he is the business owner, he wants to take
He
it.
doesn't want to take the feedback.
He doesn't care.
See, how it works usually in life is you do your highway, you hit something, and you get a bad experience. And then you take advice more seriously.
Exactly. Like Sono Sabki kind of good feedback.
So usually it takes, that's what I said, na 30 alag sochta hai, 40 alag sochta hai, 50 alag sochta hai. People as they grow up, they are humble. उन्होंने इतने failures देखे हैं, इतनी चीजें देखी हैं अपने लाइफ में, दूसरे लाइफ में, कोई भी कुछ कहता है, उसको weight देते हैं. They don't just throw off, but early they throw off very fast. Why? Because it takes us time. And anyways, everything needs evolution. मतलब, you cannot get the maturity of 50 until having made that journey.
So this little experience of my office, I'm the boss assessing this thing. Earlier I used to apply my orders. Do this.
No hearing.
No, there was a hearing on the showcase basis, but not on the inside basis. But now if I ask my senior that you have to do this and this is the reason to do this, are you convinced? Are you this? Are you that? Are you this? Then he will implement it. Otherwise, in spite of being a super boss or whatever am I, he will not implement. He will have 100 of excuses to give me. This cannot be implemented.
Yes, Kshetrajna. The more you know the field, better you can play in the field. Your years of experience teaches you how really the field of activities.
One thing is very clear, Prabhuji, you have to get something work done. You have to make convincing to the other person. On the order basis, you can't survive. आजकल का ego
We will not
खत्म
take
नहीं
this.
होगा. Ego खत्म नहीं होगा.
I really want to talk about this.
Okay.
It's not coming from a point of ego. Right?
No, what you are saying, I clearly understand. Before you speak this word, I understand your sentence completely. That they are not able to foresight you think. You believe me, I understand you come. But
That's honest. That's your honest self. You're not trying to be.
Yes,
You're
but you
your
have to
honest
see
self.
this thing. You do your own great exercise for a smaller thing and then make them see this is happened. You don't have to create a whole world at one go.
वो business like मेरे लिए वो applicable ही नहीं है बस example
Like hypothetical situation.
क्योंकि it's not applicable for me my work but I'm just saying that such like it's not coming like I want to take in the feedback right I want to hear them out but I am like if it's not reasoning with me how can I take it I don't want to be disrespectful towards them that today if someone told me like my boss or like
And that's
any
okay.
other person told me that you should do this then you should do 100 rounds, for example, of chanting. I tell them, no, I won't do it. I told them I'll do 2.
That's okay.
So before taking feedback, at least from whom we are taking,
You see, the point.
we should have confidence that he knows better than
Yes,
me.
yes.
Before that.
I was about to get to the point what Sanjeev was saying that here we're not talking about feedback from anyone.
Yes.
Here we're talking feedback from whom we would genuinely want to regard and learn from. Because for those people whom we have not sure, maybe they're not our well-wishers, maybe they have an agenda, maybe they're on a different opinion, उन लोगों से तो हम कभी सुन ही नहीं पाएंगे, वो नहीं होगा. So here, when I said the aspect of feedback is, if we want to grow, we will have a bracket who are our well-wishers. Right? It takes courage. I think all of you said it takes courage to ask them, do you think there's something I could do to do it a little better? Or maybe something that can help me? And they will not say it in the first go. They will not say it in the first go. They will say, no, there's nothing like this. Why are you asking this question? Actually, everything is so absolutely right. Then you ask them again. Then you ask them again. And then you're serious. That means you're really serious to take their help. They will be want to convince कि सही में आप मुझसे चाहते हो. And then they may say a very little thing. And shit. That's how I'm saying relationships take time. So the point why I spoke this is we are the knower of our field, but we are the knower of our field very little. Like we have trillions of cells in our body. How much do we know what's happening in our body? So actually we know very less. But
I'm sorry to interrupt. But I've read a lot of books that are on people who have had a lot of material success. Like earlier people thought they could not run the mile in 4 minutes. So a lot of people said, you'll injure your body, you'll do this to your body, you won't be able to run. But he did it. The first person did it, within 3 months 4 more people did it. So that's what I'm trying to say, that just because everyone thinks that way, it's not necessarily true. And you may, like you said, we are not completely the knower of our field. We do not know what our potential is.
Yes.
And if you want to say, I want to stand out, I want to be the best at whatever I'm doing, I cannot say that, today, I'll just use my business as an example. Everyone says 25% is very good return in a year. It's very good. I say I want to make 100. And they say नहीं होगा. तुम्हारे जैसे बहुत आए, बहुत गए, बहुत बोले 100 होगा, नहीं हो. I don't care. If I start believing them, I'll never get to 100. Or I'll never get to 75 even. But I'll beat 25 for sure. So I can't, taking their opinion. It's very important to cancel out the noise for me.
That's okay. Whatever you want to achieve, then you take association of those who encourage you for that. You don't have to hear the whole. And I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
We're definitely going in a different direction from our talk, but still, since it has an application, this is good. Whenever we are growing in our fields of success, materially, spiritually, we have to choose our association well. If you don't choose association well, it can be tough times in our life. Don't try to get validated by people. Your validation, look for your inner circle of well-wishers. If you want the world to validate you, they can make your life. Oh, I wanted to say miserable, you said that. Right? Look for your inner circle of well-wishers, and if those people are okay with you, you should know, the world criticizes you, don't have to worry much.
Just to ask on Krishna's point, irrespective of the world, how do I balance myself in that situation to understand where I'm being overly optimistic and where I should balance some reality?
I think it's going to take a mix of good guidance and experience, because sometimes it's too very difficult to ascertain, and if you completely want to deny your aspect, that also makes it very difficult. So it has to be I would say, good guides in life. They will not tell you what to do, they will coach you. A good teacher is one who doesn't tell you what to do. He coaches you. You understand the difference? Like Krishna, what type of a teacher is? He's a coach. Till the end of Gita, after he's speaking on all subjects, educated Krishna, Arjuna in many fields, answering the questions what he asked, everything. And at the end, what does Krishna say?
Do as you wish.
Yathe ichhasi tatha puri. I have told you everything, now I liberate you. Now you decide what you want. So that is how a person who guides should be, a person who coaches should be. Right? Yes?
Also, just to ask one more question, when you said that we should be more courageous to take feedback. Obviously, there's sometimes when your mind is completely blocked. Like when my parents are also coming and telling me to do that. I know that they're coming to a good point of view, but sometimes my mind is just completely blocked where I'm like, you're not understanding where I'm coming from. So how do you think we can soften our position or soften our stubbornness in our head?
Take a percentage. Do a percentage. Like if there's 100, some percentage of it you can hear and administer. And some percentage is for your freedom to apply. So, best of both the things. Right? Now, if you take all 100%, you feel that you lose your originality. So you cannot function. That makes it difficult for you to envision. Now, if you pay 0% heed, then you feel maybe I'm being reckless. So that kind of guilt also haunts us. Right? Human psychology is very interesting, If you don't follow, it's like sometimes we think people are reckless, but actually they also feel a sense of guilt and feeling that maybe I'm not being sensitive to people's advice. That also haunts them. So maybe a good combination is in between, where there's a percentage of freedom and percentage of guidance. And especially, this is a very big subject to talk. If people give you red signal advices, if they give you a red signal advice, and those are your well-wishers, they will never desire that you should be doomed. Are they there? They never desire, please, now this is my years of hard learnings, the school of hard knocks, try to stay within the boundary of those red signal advices. I have my personal experiences where devotees told me, this you should not do. And I thought, why is this person being so pushy? Maybe I can figure it out better than the superior of mine. And I sincerely pursued it with all good intent. And I can say I lost my 2 to 3 years of my service opportunity because of that. And after 3 years, I came to the conclusion what he had told me 3 years back with a hard nut, saying that this will really not work, this will waste your time. So after 3 years of my learning, now when the superior tells me anything, I have a lot of weight. If he says, like that red line kind of thing, I say, I may not accept it because I'm not convinced, but at least I will keep it as a boundary. कूदना भी है तो उस लक्ष्मण रेखा के अंदर करूंगा. You understand? Even because always you do not fully understand the other person, but you know that इसका previously advice नहीं सुना, मेरा बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो गया, इसको मेच्योरिटी है, अभी ये बोल रहा है, तो it'll take me time for realization, but at least I put it within the boundary. So I made it in my life. I may not be convinced of my superior's words all the time, but whatever they say, I'll make like boundaries and I don't trespass those. So I cannot say blindly that I'm fully in acceptance because that's not me. See, I cannot fake what I don't mean. What they're saying is 30% convincing, 70% I am not convinced. Right? So I tell them, look, I'm not convinced. But since you told me, this is the guideline I will follow. That much I'm convinced that ये guideline follow करना है, but 100% I'm not convinced of this direction. So I moderate it. So all those red signal wala cheez, I don't cross. But the other things, I wait for time to reveal. Why? Because the second point that's very important is because ultimately the decision maker and the person who takes responsibility has to take the freedom. वो कल को किसी ने बोला और आपने किया और आप उसके ऊपर थोपोगे कि आपने बोला था, that is not proper. So you, because you are the decision maker and you are taking responsibility of the result. So you get the authority to make the decision. So you learn from, and you should not blame anyone in the future. That is very important.
Prabhu, I feel like once you take a decision on any aspect, like anything, you are prone to say failure or success. Success, no problem, right? But when it's a failure, we always think that it could have gone the other way, which could have been like if I say today I go to my father, he tells me plan A, B, C, D. He says you do plan A. I say no, I want to do plan B.
Typical.
He says plan A, I say plan B. Plan B successful हो गया, कुछ नहीं, ठीक है? That's okay. Plan A
fail हो गया. Then
it's up. I'll only face the results.
Yeah.
Like today you said that you did it, like whatever you did, you wasted 3 years, but you learned on your own. So you got
क्या बोलते हैं? Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Whatever, fine, that's okay.
I feel that if I make mistakes, I'm bound to learn on my own.
No problem.
No problem. It's always smarter to learn from others' mistakes.
See, we cannot artificially evolve. We have to evolve naturally, right? तो अपने जो है वो है, उसको इसलिए बोला ना knower of the field. Our field of activity we understand कि अपने को पहले पूरा गाड़ी तेजी से चलाना है. उसके बाद चलाने के बाद देखते हैं क्या हुआ, कितना घिसा टायर, कितना क्या हुआ. That may be our personality, right? Some of us may be like doers. They always want to make things happen, right? So doer people are always like high energy people. They want action. There's some people, they're not action people. They're more like organizers, team players, cooperation. Their success definition is different. They bring success through different collaborations. So every person you observe is not the same kind of energy emitter. They have different energies. And that's how I said each of us take time to understand our own patterns of who we are. Right? Through our own experiences, through others' feedback. It takes a while.
Prabhu, I have a question. In the starting, you had mentioned that whenever you're baffled or whenever you're perturbed, you should always separate yourself with the body and you should detach yourself. But for example, when you're dealing with people, right, and they might they might tell you certain things which you don't like. For example, that's uncle, he's in business, right? He might have a party which is very aggressive or which tells him certain harsh words. In that situation, how should a person react? How should a person detach himself or herself from that notion or that narrative?
We will tell Amin Kolput to answer because you picked on his example.
Just an example,
So this is very practical happenings, right? How to kind of deal with the narrative people give. Yes, Prabhu, what do you do?
I need to stay all the time and I don't
React.
Yeah. But how do you actually detach yourself from the body? You said, separate yourself from the
No, I'm saying to be.
How do you actually do that?
It is like being observed. It is like, I'm not saying when you say detach me, see, when you kind of think you are that failure will make you hit rock bottom. Like Prabhuji said, how can you be humble unless you're detached?
Prabhu, do the trials, you can't even say it. You can't utter a word because
Yes.
they are they are bringing you the business, right? When you're dealing with the government agent or when you're talking to people, we are always dealing with Mayavadi people, non-devotees, right? So they don't have the same level of
Yes.
consciousness. They might say certain ill words, which you don't like, which was completely atrocious. So how do you actually deal in that situation?
It's not going to be easy, as Prabhuji said. Throw another piece of each
I
skin.
understand. Like, if you start, the first thing you need to see that, do you want to continue with that person? How? How you want to continue? Means first your perception is थोड़ा सा डाटा आपको मेरे को काम नहीं करना मेरे को बात ही नहीं करना मेरे को इससे रिलेशनशिप है one person. Second is first time डाटा है. Third is उसने second time भी डाटा. Then you find it out what is the reason that you have been spoken. आपका रिलेशनशिप में किसके साथ लड़ाई किस वजह से हो रहा है किस कारण से. Then you see that intention behind that person who's having a conversation, a harsh conversation. See the intention. That person wants to demoralize you, or he has got a habit, but his intentions are good toward you. He wants to make you improve in that field, of any of the field. See, anything when somebody is bouncing on you, if you are observing it and after that you are telling him this was the actual situation, or you accept your fault, or how is the things going, that thing you have to observe. And if you are thinking you are doing good at every moment and he is still keeping on criticizing you, leave it.
Or he's just checking your level of patience. Is it someone new? Could be.
Very nice explanation of Naveen Prabhu.
Actually, this thing I have learned from my one of the employees who is now in a bed. The way he handled me, I realized that. I'm very clear and honest. Because वो मेरे को समझा जितना, वो मेरे को जितना प्यार करता है मैं उससे 10 times उससे ज़्यादा प्यार करता हूँ. I have done everything for him in the place of Krishna. So what the thing is, you have to understand firstly the intention behind it. Mother डांटती है तो intention क्या है? वो करता है तो intention क्या है? First is intention behind that, and then you're doing what are you doing? Is it you're right, you're wrong, what improve, not improve?
So the question that you asked, that is the answer, that if you understand this concept, you can do all this analysis. If you understand that you are the knower of the field and you are not the field, you can wait to calm down and do all this analysis. But somebody who does not understand this will not calm down only. He'll react. You understand? Because he knows that I'm disturbed, this is not the good time for action. Let me first cool
And the
down.
foremost thing what I understand from Prabhuji is that every situation which comes to you, say that Krishna has sent. Not because of his deeds, which is your deed. तो थप्पड़ भी मार रहा है, तुमको पढ़ने ही वाला था, तुम्हारा किस कारण से तुमको पढ़ने वाला था, तुमको पढ़ने ही वाला था. And you are young, so as soon as you grasp this, but see, Prabhuji says, karma and to live every moment is not easy. Every theory, every time can't be applied, but you have to really be Krishna conscious. If the situation has come to me, okay.
Yes. So I'll conclude with just this point. We got into a lot of analytics.
I think it was very important.
Yeah.
Like, it was very helpful for me at least.
So the more you become Krishna conscious, you can become more objective of yourself and of situation. The less Krishna conscious you are, it will not be easy.
And probably the foremost thing, what he is doing is that Krishna conscious में शर्म नहीं करनी. अभी इनको ईगो होता, या उसको ईगो होता, या किसी को भी ईगो होता, तो ये क्वेश्चन ही नहीं उठा.
That's why the principle of Krishna consciousness is simplicity. You don't put on.
I have come here to learn something.
All of you have very advanced. So I just want to make one point and we conclude for today is that here Krishna says we are the knowers of our field to some extent, but Krishna knows all fields to all extent. So that goes to show us that if we become collaborative with Krishna, who knows us fully, who knows the other people fully, who knows all the situation fully, and we make him our close confidant, then with his support, we can deal with every situation. Because I don't know, but my friend, my well-wisher, he knows everything. So if I surrender to him, and if I depend on him, so this is another explanation of surrender. Right? If I surrender to Krishna, who is all-knower, he can fix my problem. It is not out of frustration or it's not about my limitation. It's like I know that this guy knows everything. I am in a checkmate, but I surrender to him. He knows all the things, he can clear it up. So his being Kshetrajna. That is how a devotee in all situations surrenders to Krishna. Like he will do his best and then say, my dear Krishna, I have tried my best as an instrument of yours. Now you please do whatever is best for me. I depend on you. So this dependence on Krishna is not being weak. Many times people say, you're taking to Bhakti, putting all things on Lord. Why you don't work hard? Why you don't take this thing? But depending on Krishna is not your weakness. It's actually your strength, your knowledge and your awakening. You are humble enough to know your shortcoming. It needs more courage to accept yourself to be short. Right? So as devotees, when we depend on Krishna, it's a sign of our being not weak. Actually, we are strong. So we know that, I know this much only. Beyond that, I need to take help of Krishna. So I surrender. In everything I do what is pleasing to Krishna. Because I know Krishna is on my side. I collaborate. Like Pandavas. What was the game plan of Pandavas?
Krishna.
Game plan of Pandavas were in Vanvas. The only game plan was we have to act for Krishna's pleasure and serve him. That's all. Duryodhana had world level diplomatic game plan. And devotee, like just now Narasimha Leela happened. Hiranyakashipu did thousands of years of such tapasya and appeased Brahmaji after tens and thousands of years. And he got 3 worlds kingdom. And how long he ruled? How long Hiranyakashipu ruled?
lot of years.
Huh?
A lot of years.
How long he ruled?
More than
One day of Brahma.
few lakh.
Hiranyakashipu, how long he ruled?
Few lakh years.
5 years. When Hiranyakashipu, Prahlada was in the womb, and he waited till Hiranyakashipu came back, and Prahlada came out of the womb, and at 5 years when Prahlada was there, Narasimhadev came and killed Hiranyakashipu. Prahlada was 5-year-old.
The tapasya for how many thousands and thousands of years?
Yes. Prahlada Maharaj कितने बड़े थे? 5 years. He was assassinated. Thousands and thousands of years of tapasya. 5-year rule. I was just speaking the Bhagavatam the other. Maybe the ruling of government 5 years came from Hiranyakashipu. And Prahlada, on the contrary, did only devotion. And Narasimhadev said, ask something, Prahlada. He said, my dear Lord, I'm not a businessman. I didn't love you to ask you something. He said, Prahlada, ask something. Then Narasimhadev says, ask. Prahlada says, remove all my desires which are kamadi hridrogam, because they will infect me to this world. First he says no. Second he says remove all the lusty material desires which will and strangle me here. And then what does Nrsimhadev do? Prahlad, I bless you to rule for one manvantara. One manvantara is how long? One span of Manu. That is 71 times 43,20,000 years. Prahlad Maharaj is ruling. Right? With all prowess, with all remembrance of Krishna, with full devotion, Prahlad has got. So you see, what is a better investment? Hiranyakashipu style, all intelligence, all effort, उस ब्रह्मा को बेवकूफ बना दिया, इंद्र को कंट्रोल कर लिया, क्या बुद्धि लगाया, क्या हुआ? 5 साल में गद्दी गई. And Prahlad, only investment from first day, even in the womb. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Only on the holy name invested in devotion. And he's still ruling it. Even now Prahlad Maharaj is there in Harivarsha, Jambudvipa, as a king of the Asuras. Right? He's ruling. So we have to choose Pandav, what do you call, tactics, strategy, or Kaurav strategy. Hiranyakashipu strategy or Prahlad strategy. Right? By Prabhupada's mercy, we are all tuning ourselves to Pandavas, tuning ourselves to Prahlad. So what we are studying here is the success strategies. It will look like, how is it connected to my life? Actually, we see the epics, we see the histories. These are the success models. Because Krishna is Kshetrajna. He knows every field to the fullest. Every knower to the fullest. If somebody collaborates with him in devotion, and he's there to give feedback from inside and from outside, then how can anyone's success be checked?
Prahlad Maharaj, how many years is given in Bhagavatam?
Yes, he's still ruling. He's not gone away. Still ruling. 71 into 43,20,000. One manvantara. We discussed, in one day of Brahma, 14 times Manus change. 14 times the planetary Indra, Chandra, sab change hote hain. So 1/14th of a day of Brahma, he got to rule for so long. While he said, I don't want. Then he said, remove my material desires. The Lord said, Prahlad, तुमको तो इधर रहना ही पड़ेगा, प्रचार करना पड़ेगा और मेरा भजन करो, क्योंकि तुम्हारी भक्ति से हर असुर प्रेरित होके मेरा भक्त बनेगा. Right? So the unfortunate misfortune of people can only be changed by the great devotees of the Lord. Their association is the transformer of the three worlds. Tino world ka transformation happened when Prahlad landed. The whole universe dynamics changed. That means the devotee's impact, or the impact of cultivating devotion, is the most. You may be thinking doing great management, great skills is what is going to impact this world. I said, sorry sir. The greatest impact is when you take your mala and chant Hare Krishna. Why? Because you're working with Krishna, who is the most influential person. You're working with Modi, how much influence you can do. You're working with Trump, how much influence you can do. You're working with Krishna, how much influence you can do. Zero influence. But really, Prabhupada is teaching us. Sometimes we think doing bhakti is my side work, and there's so many other important things to do. But when you study Shastra, Kshetrajna, and you do your chanting, and you do your bhakti, it is the supermost influential, impactful thing that you can do. Now, the impact is so deep that, it takes that while to understand. But it is a fact. It is a fact how Prahlad and how others are doing. Right? What Pandavas did for so long, it was not understood how this is going to impact. What Prahlad was undergoing, it was not clear. Hiranyakashipu and Kaurava was, immediately the world was able to see the effect. दुर्योधन का षड्यंत्र तो इमीडिएटली वो पोस्ट पे पोजीशन पे आ गया, ये कर दिया. The material things may show up very fast, so they seem to say this is the way. But you don't see Pandavas taking a shortcut. You don't see Prahlada taking a shortcut. So simultaneously we are trying to be devotees. This is the influence that we'll have. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.